Have you been thinking about getting one of these Prada Luna Rossa ocean fragrances? Then you have to watch this video. And if you haven't been thinking about them, then still watch this video and you might get yourself one of these afterwards. At this point, there are 3 in the ocean collection. You have the Eau de Toilette, the Eau de Parfum, and the newest one, the Le Parfum. So let's go over all 3 of these. And maybe there's one that fits you the best. The first Prada Luna Rossa Ocean was released in 2021 and it was an Eau de Toilette concentration. The perfumers were Carlos Bonaim and Anne Filippo. I remember when this one first came out, it surprised many of us since it isn't the traditional sort of blue fragrance, and since this bottle is really blue, you would think it was a blue fragrance, but it is a little bit of a deviation, from that, as well as the other Luna Rossa fragrances. It doesn't really quite fit. This one is quite dense. Online, this one right here is listed as an aromatic fougere. It is powdery, a little bit of musky lavender. However, I do find this one to be quite sweet. It is almost as if there is some marzipan in here somewhere. And this is really due to the sweet caramel note in the base of this fragrance. Let's give it a little spray here. Some of the other notes listed, great spray on here, very wet. Some of the other notes listed in this one are going to be patchouli. There is also some iris in there if you like iris. It is not an iris fragrance, but it's definitely in there. Further giving this one sort of a feeling of, a denser feeling. The mixture of green artemisia and lavender give this one a slight herbal sense. If you go up there, when you take a deep whiff, you do feel there's a little bit of an herbal sense to it. Altogether, I think this is a darker oceanic fragrance that I personally would probably wear in the cooler months. It's the Eau de Toilette, like I said. Not necessarily in winter, but I would wear it just when it's cooler outside. The judgment on this masculine sort of EDT from Prada is sort of in the middle. Some love it, some don't, not so much. And it's understandable since, it is also right in the middle of performance. It's not super great, it's not super bad. It's kind of in the middle of both of these, performance and projection. As for me, the Eau de Parfum from 2023 suits me just a little bit better. I'm a sucker for grapefruit and vanilla. It's the same bottle. Yeah, the only difference is going to be you're going to have Eau de Parfum in the bottom, but it's the identical bottle. Let's give this one a spray as well. The faint memory of the Eau de Toilette is still going to be detectable in the Eau de Parfum. However, it is a completely different fragrance to my nose. The EDP features notes of olibanum in this one right here, also known as frankincense. It's one of my favorite notes, probably due to my Catholic upbringing. The frankincense note in this one is not there at the very beginning. It kind of comes into play as it dries down just a little bit. I quite like the dry down on this one. Ocean Eau de Parfum also has a slightly better performance as far as, longevity is concerned. The projection, however, in this one is going to be pretty much the same as the Eau de Toilette. As for density, well, it is still quite dense. And once again, I would also not wear this one to work out in. Nor would I wear this one on super hot days. For me, it would be just a tad too much. Of course, if you're in air-conditioned spaces most of the time, in a car or in an office, then both of these would work just fine all year long. Also, I find that the EDP is a little bit less oceanic than the 2021, Eau de Toilette. Now, we said that this one wasn't really too oceanic, more like the deep blue depths of the ocean. Well, this one is even less so, in my opinion. This is probably due to the lack of florals like, vetiver and lavender. This is sort of a woody vanilla with a short-lived sort of grapefruit top, leading into the frankincense and a good, nice ambery dry down. So interestingly enough, we have in the Eau de Parfum, we had the vanilla and we had the grapefruit note. And then in the Eau de Toilette, we had the lavender and it was a deep ocean sweet caramel fragrance, right? So what we have, in the Eau de Parfum, we have the grapefruit and the vanilla at the top. no more florals, why the Eau de Toilette is going to have, some of the florals in there. Now, interestingly enough, there are only 2 notes remaining in the new one from 2024, which is the Le Parfum. The fragrance has changed completely. The only 2 notes remaining in this one from either one of these is going to be the Amber Extreme and the Saffron. Once again, I do not find any similarities, not even if you have these side by side and you smell them side by side. You can't. Absolutely different fragrance. The bottle has also changed. This one is now red, while the other ones were blue. And the thickness of this bottle is also, it's a lot less bulky than this new one. It's a little bit more delicate looking. They're probably going to come out with an elixir next, and it'll be like this big and completely thin, and probably, who knows what. It's probably going to be an elixir next, ocean elixir.
I'm looking forward to it, I promise.
So far, for me, the Le Parfum is going to be the most unique out of the 3, since there is very, very little sweetness. And it is also, for me, the most mature out of these 3. Let's give it a spray. It's going to have the same sprayer. It's very, very wet, powerful sprayer. So you probably go through the fragrance pretty quick.
It's very wet.
Prada Luna Rossa Ocean Le Parfum is going to be a dry, woody fragrance with some soft, delicate, floral saffron. Once again, to me, it's not really an ocean scent. Not even a deep ocean scent. This is probably the farthest away out of the 3 from like an ocean scent. It is also much more masculine to me, and it's probably due to the lack of sweetness. And it has a little bit of a throwback feeling.
It's the perfect year to go retro.
As I smell this, the sense of some pepper and some dry leather, perhaps some tobacco, maybe some licorice somewhere in the background. Now, all these notes aren't listed anywhere, but this definitely has a little bit more complexity to it. It's not just sweet. It is also more unusual than most of the fragrances that are out there right now. This nuance is probably coming from, the Amber Extreme mixed with some oak. There ever is a little touch of lemon at the very top. It is also very short-lived though, just like the grapefruit was in the Eau de Parfum. The projection and longevity for me on this one go up just a little bit. Not too much, just a little. Now I'm not quite sure whether that is because the other ones sort of fade into everything else around us, and this one is a little bit more of a unique scent. Maybe that's why it sticks out just a bit, but it feels to me like it goes up just a little bit as far as performance, projection and longevity is concerned. I've worn this one right here a few times, and I have to say it really grows on you. It's one of those fragrances when you first smell, it's not what you expected, especially from this line. It is, I was expecting something sweeter or, something along the same line. However, this one, turned out to be a nice surprise. Much like when I first tried the Hugo Boss Elixir, that one surprised me the same way. It's another fragrance that is not very sweet at all. It's very, very dry and unusual, but it also grows on you. You yearn for it. This one has the same kind of sort of feeling. You smell it and you're like, what is this? It's kind of unusual, but then you want to come back for it. I can see myself wearing this one when it's warmer outside, not a problem at all, because it is a little bit, it's a little bit drier, not quite as sweet. So if you're into, sweet fragrances with some florals, then the Eau de Toilette Ocean is probably going to be your best bet. If you like, a little bit of citrus instead of florals and a touch of, frankincense or olibanum, then the Eau de Parfum is probably going to be the way to go. And if you're not into either one of them, then give this one, the Le Parfum, a try. It is a little bit more mature, more masculine, slightly better performance. Just remember that this one is going to be a little bit more mature. As for me, the Le Parfum is going to be my favorite from the Ocean lineup, at least right now. Followed by the Eau de Parfum, which I like the frankincense line. The frankincense dry down on that one is really nice. It's not quite as sweet. And unfortunately, for me, in third place is going to be the original Eau de Toilette. It's a little bit too sweet for me, and I just don't find myself going for it too much. But who knows? Our nose constantly evolves, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Which one of these ocean fragrances, if you have tried them, is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. As for now, I want to tell you thank you for watching. I'm glad you were here. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. I'd love to have you on board. Take care, and I will talk to you soon.